Hello and welcome to a new series of knowledge videos. This is the first one actually, and I would like to explain how to create a WebDynpro ABAP, to explain the basic components and what you need to create your first application. As usual, the traditional Hello World application. You start transaction SE80, the development environment, and you choose these different application categories, WebDynpro component interface, just by typing the WD for WebDynpro and then Hello World, and by hitting the Enter key it will ask you to create the WebDynpro frame, and you give it a name, you can give it a description, and you select that the created component should be of type WebDynpro component. You should also give a name here. This name is used throughout the application for the window handler, and just leave it, in this case, since it's your first one, with the predefined value. And then, as usual, you assign it to a package, save it to this package, then you get asked to assign it to a transport, save the transport, and then the system creates the empty WebDynpro frame for you. So this is all inside SE80. This is all inside your regular SAP development transaction in the ABAP stack. Everything is in the ABAP domain. You don't need any external tools. You don't need any external studios, Eclipse or something like this. It's all in the ABAP domain, which is good news for all former pure ABAP developers. When we look at the structure that is generated, then we see that not only just one component is generated, but that a whole framework of component is generated. We have the component controller and the interface controller. This is basically where all data handling takes place. Imagine that you have a series of screens, that you have a lot of functions, that you have startup situations, initializing situations, handling situations, and somebody needs to organize all the data flow along all these methods, along all these screens, along all these states that can happen in a WebDynpro transaction. This is the duty of the component controllers and the interface controller. This is a pretty in-depth technology, so we can just really scratch the surface here and just explain the overall functionality. You need really to go into a deep WebDynpro development class to get a handle on all these. So we can just scratch the surface here. Then we have the interface view that is holding and organizing the flow of the views, the flow of the layout, and then the overall window, which is the container for the application. We don't see the application yet. This will be created later. Next thing we should do is add a view to this whole construct. And then by using the context menu, putting the cursor on the top line, right mouse click, create a view. You basically get the dialog for creating a view, and this is the Hello Windows, and this is, of course, the Hello World Windows. This will create a view. In the moment, you will not see it here. Actually, this is because you just have created it and you need to save it and activate it in order to see it also in the navigation menu. You have your view, you have your layout, and you can place now a text on everything here. In order to create a text mode, a text element inside the screen, you have two options. One is drag and drop. You get the element over here, you drag it on the screen and just let it loose on the mouse, and you see over here that you have a new element added to your view, which is of type text caption, and you can add text to it, and this is our famous Hello World. okay, this is a constant, you have a text element, you have a text attribute, you can add it. Here it is. Here is your hello world now on this layout screen. We now need to save it, as I said, and then we need to activate it, otherwise you will not really see it in the context. So we activate now everything. We need now to include this view we just created into the navigation of the overall application. What we have created is the Hello World screen itself, so it's embedded in a view. This is a layout inside the view. We have created a text component, a caption component. This caption component has an internal ID and has an internal attribute. If we just select it, we see that we have provided a text, constant text of Hello World that is seen on the layout, and we need now to include it. So the navigation, the overall navigation of the application is held by the Windows here, and we see that we have the Windows component and that we have a so-called plug, a default plug. This is the inbound handler that is called when the application itself is called up. So somebody starts the application starts the default plug, and the default plug wants to start a view, a layout element. And we just have to tell the WebDynpro which view we would like to have as a target for the default plug that is run through by start of the application. So we just do drag and drop. We took the view, we left mouse click, hold the element and drag everything over here. And then the application is inserted into the navigation. So just left mouse click, drag and drop over here, let loose, and then it will be inserted. So this basically says that the default plug is starting this application, and by the text message you can tell that the view hello Windows has been embedded in the navigation window, in the overall application window, WebDynpro Hello World. The only thing that is missing now, and we will create this just right after this step, is the application itself. The last thing that we need to create here is the application itself. Just right mouse click on the WebDynpro, and then we need to create a WebDynpro application. So this is the application itself. Just create one, and again it'll ask for the application name. The application name will be seen in all customizing activities. If you, for instance, add this application to an enterprise portal, this is the application that will be addressed from the outside. So you see that here is the application name. This is the name, the component that is included, the interface view that is addressed, the plugin name that starts when the application starts. Like I said, plug leads to the interface, leads to the view, starts the application, addresses which component is handling the data, and here you can tell by the administrative data where everything is heading for. This is the server name, this is the service part. People used to ICM service configuration will recognize that this is a service path, and here we have the application itself. So this URL you can just give basically everybody who has access to the SAP system, and through a regular browser he can just enter this one and a username, password, and the application will start. Save it, add it to the package of your choice, add it to the transport of your choice, and once everything is created, it's saved. Actually, you don't need to activate this one. The only thing you still have to do here is to start the application, to test the application, and you do this by selecting the line, selecting the application, do right mouse click and execute a test. And what you basically then see at the end is your famous Hello World text line that is displayed in the browser. That's all there is, and that's all this WebDynpro application of yours is doing right now.